Have you ever binge-watched a show thinking it's just entertainment, only to start seeing patterns you can't unsee? That happened to me with The Penguin on HBO. I was hooked on the crime and chaos, but then I noticed Oswald Cobblepot doesn't just fight his way up. He talks his way up. He twists conversations, persuades, and makes people believe they have no choice but to follow him. Hello, my fellow binge watchers and story lovers. Today, we're breaking down the sneaky tricks he uses to manipulate and corner people into doing exactly what he wants. Ever had someone distort your words to make you sound ridiculous? Been forced into an unfair choice? Called someone out, only to have them turn the accusation back on you? By the end of this video, you'll recognize these tactics, understand how they work, and learn how to counter them. These aren't just villain tricks. They're everywhere. From shady salesmen to politicians to that co-worker who always dodges real work. So grab a notepad or brace yourself, because what you're about to learn isn't just theory. It's a real-world toolkit for debates, arguments, and negotiations. Quick warning, spoilers ahead for The Penguin. We'll analyze two key scenes. One where Penguin tries to unite rival gangs, and another where he confronts Maroni in prison. If you haven't watched it yet, you might want to check it out first. Otherwise, let's dive in. Penguin's real power isn't just in what he does, it's in how he frames reality. He bends conversations until people see things his way. One of his best tricks, the straw man, twisting someone's position to make it easier to attack. He does this masterfully in his speech to rival gangs.
What do you think him and Sophia are gonna do to you, huh? They'll take your shit, your territories. That's what's coming. Because you mean nothing to them.
He's not debating facts. He's creating a villain so terrifying his audience has no choice but to follow him. Did the other gangs actually say they'd crush every independent gang? Not really. But Penguin doesn't need truth. Just a version that scares people into action. So how do you counter this? First, step beyond the fear. Ask yourself, what's actually being said? Is the threat real or exaggerated? Demand specifics, facts, sources, real examples. More often than not, cracks will show. Also, recognize when emotions are being played. Manipulators trigger fear and anger because emotions shut down critical thinking. When you refuse to be swept up by manufactured fear, you take back control, and once you see through the straw man, it's much harder to fall for it again.
Boy, you guys are a hell of a duet here.
Another powerful trick in Penguin's playbook is the false dilemma, framing a situation as having only two choices while ignoring alternatives.
I want to offer my services to you and your family. I could give you everything you need, so your crew can just swoop in and steal the whole fucking kit. And I'm offering you the opportunity of a lifetime.
With that one line, he shuts down negotiation, making it seem like there's only his way or failure. This tactic isn't unique to him. It's used by high-pressure salesmen, politicians, and that friend who says, if you don't come, you'll regret it forever. Penguin also controls perception. He doesn't just push a narrative, he shifts blame and makes people doubt their own judgment. Take his talk with Maroni. Penguin doesn't just propose a deal. He creates an illusion that rejecting him means missing out. He highlights Falcone's weaknesses, dangles power, and makes hesitation seem like losing. In truth, Maroni has options, but Penguin makes sure he doesn't see them. He wants urgency and control. How do you fight back? First, recognize it. A forced sense of urgency is meant to cloud judgment. Slow things down. If someone pressures you, ask, what's the rush? A real opportunity will wait. A manipulative one relies on impulse. Second, challenge the premise. If only two choices are presented, ask if there's a third. Often, real power comes from creating option C. Once you control the decision-making process, the manipulation loses its grip, and you'll never be trapped by a false dilemma again.
How you doing? I'm Oz.
Another classic manipulation Penguin uses is the tu quoque fallacy, or the you too argument. Instead of addressing criticism, he flips it back on the accuser.
This man's a fool. He betrays everyone he works with. Sofia Gigante,
Alberto Falcone? Look, everything you heard about me is true. I stole Sophia's product. I popped Alberto Falcone. I did it all. So fucking what? Do what it takes. Like all you.
This move dodges accountability. He doesn't defend his actions. He just makes others look equally bad, muddying the waters so no one can judge him. You see this everywhere. A politician accused of corruption says, "Oh, and you think the other side is clean?" Someone confronted about bad behavior deflects. "What about you? You've done the same." It's a tactic to dodge responsibility. How do you counter it? Don't take the bait. When someone shifts blame, refocus. We're talking about you. Acknowledge others' faults if needed, but don't let that excuse the person in question. Stay firm, and don't let them escape accountability by pointing fingers elsewhere.
I got you! I got you! Take that, you friggin' psycho! I got you!
You've made it this far, which means you're already ahead of most people when it comes to spotting manipulation. And that's impressive. Most people fall for these tricks without even realizing it. If you're finding this breakdown useful, now's a great time to show some love. Drop a like, because trust me, what's coming next is even more insidious.
Beautiful. Thank you, Councilman.
Penguin isn't just throwing out empty threats or forcing people into false choices. No, he's playing a deeper game, one where the ground beneath you starts slipping before you even realize what's happening. This is where things get truly dangerous. One of Penguin's strongest weapons is appeal to emotion, using feelings instead of logic to manipulate. When emotions take over, critical thinking fades. Look at his talk with Maroney. Instead of making a rational case, he throws a gut punch.
Come on, Sal. Don't you fucking miss it. Respect.
He's not proving his plan is best. He's making Maroney feel like he has no choice. By stirring up resentment and nostalgia, he positions himself as the only solution. This trick isn't unique to Penguin. Advertisers use it. Remember the good old days? Buy this. How do you counter it? Recognize when emotion is replacing reason. If a message triggers intense feelings, pause and ask, what's actually being promised? Is there a real plan or just a flood of feelings? The moment logic takes over, the manipulation loses power.
Maybe we can talk about what they did to my partner's face.
Holy God, what are you showing me?
His head.
Come on!
Open your eyes!
Stirring emotions is only half the battle. Once Penguin has people feeling something, anger, nostalgia, resentment, he needs to keep their focus where he wants it. That's where his next trick comes in, red herring, or the look over there technique. Instead of addressing an issue, he shifts attention to something else entirely. Take his talk with Maroney. When Maroney calls him out for being untrustworthy, does Penguin defend himself? Not exactly. He sidesteps.
Huge drug bust goes down right under your nose and you got nothing to do with it? Get the fuck out of here.
Look, I can see you're upset. Trust takes time. But this ain't bullshit. Whoever controls drops, controls the streets. You know that's right.
Just like that, the focus shifts from Penguin's loyalty to power and survival. It's no longer about whether he can be trusted. It's about the bigger game. This works because people love a villain. Shift their anger onto someone else, and you're off the hook. That's why when companies face scandals, a bigger controversy suddenly dominates the news. So how do you protect yourself? Stick to the issue. If someone dodges a question, bring them back. That's interesting, but let's go back to my question. Can you answer it directly? Recognize misdirection. If someone changes the subject, ask why. Finally, don't fear silence. If you ask a direct question and they ramble, let the silence sit. It forces them to face the question instead of escaping it.
Look, I'm just a proprietor, okay? And what people do here ain't got nothing to do with me.
Cherry picking is when someone only presents facts that support their argument while ignoring everything else. And Penguin? He's an expert at this. When uniting the gangs, he says,
But they're breaking bread because they know that each of them on their own, they ain't got nothing. But together, those soft-bellied pricks, they run this whole fucking city. Why the hell not us?
Sounds convincing. But he leaves out that those elites also betray each other constantly. He picks what helps his case and ignores the rest. This trick is everywhere. News, social media, even that friend who always wins arguments. The best defense? Ask for the full picture. What's missing? What counterexamples exist? Truth is rarely as neat as manipulators make it seem. To guard against this, seek opposing viewpoints. A strong argument stands even when challenged. Also, watch for patterns. If someone always ignores contradicting evidence, call it out. What about times this didn't happen? Forcing them to address missing facts exposes weak spots. Lastly, do your own research. Manipulators rely on people taking their word at face value. Verify claims, seek context, and control the narrative instead of letting it control you.
Promise me, Oswald.
I know that.
I deserve a better life.
I'm working on it.
If you've made it this far, you clearly enjoy breaking down manipulative tactics. To keep sharpening your skills, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future deep dives into persuasion and control strategies. And speaking of control, there's one final technique that ties everything together: black and white thinking. Penguin nails it.
If we come together right here, right now, they're gonna talk about this night. You know, the time that we decided that it's better to work with the ones we hate than live under those that they don't even know our fucking names.
No shades of gray, just two extremes. This works because people hate uncertainty. Given a choice between a complex reality and a simple, emotionally charged message, most choose the latter. This is why politicians frame issues as good versus evil. Cult leaders demand total loyalty, and social media outrage thrives on oversimplification. The moment you accept a black and white view, you stop questioning exactly what manipulators want. The antidote? Embrace complexity. When given two stark choices, seek the middle ground. Ask, is this really the full picture? Most of the time, it's not. Now, here's the kicker. The best manipulators don't use these tricks separately. They layer them. They stir emotions, misdirect, cherry-pick facts, and push black and white thinking to keep you from questioning them. That's why understanding these tactics is so powerful. Penguin isn't just a criminal. He's a strategist who bends perception to get what he wants. And these tricks aren't just in Gotham, they're everywhere. Business, politics, daily life. Now that you know them, you'll start spotting them in the real world. Have you seen these tactics in action? Maybe from a boss, a friend, or a public figure? Drop a comment. Also, should we analyze more movie and TV characters? Let me know. Your feedback shapes what's next. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and keep questioning everything.